Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Murder Mystery Show. Today we're trying to track down a potential suspect or, you know, do the possibility of elimination to find a potential suspect. I'm your host, Daniel J. Alongside with me, as always, is Jaime G and Big Blue. Jaime, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great. We had a great live yesterday. We had a lot of people interacting with us. I want to thank all of y'all. We'll be having another live show tomorrow where you guys will be able to join in on the stream. So look out for that. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Big Blue, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I just want to let everybody know that tomorrow night it's on like Donkey Kong for tomorrow. So
Bring out your drinks. Bring out your brewskis. Have a drink with us tomorrow night. And so today, what we wanted to talk to is kind of piggyback off what we were doing last night, trying to figure out, who, did we find the Elantra? Is the Elantra belong to somebody nearby? Is the killer close? And so we kind of wanted to piggyback off of that. And at first, I think it'd be important, first and foremost, for us to listen in on the Moscow police chief's recent interview that talks about the white Hyundai Elantra and why it's important. So I'm going to mute us real quick.
There was a particular area outlined as where the priority was for asking for video. Why was that area selected?
Well, that area was selected because essentially it surrounds the King Road area, and we know that people typically have to travel to and from. We weren't trying to pigeonhole our investigation into the suspect lives in the area. We wanted to make sure that we covered all the bases. And so as we began to gather more information, we began to expand our search area. You may recall from the second press conference that we specifically put out a plea to the public for any video in the King Road area, and then we gave a defined area, and we put that area on our website as well, asking residents, hey, if you have video or if your neighbor has video, let us know so we can get a copy of that. We understand that video has a finite life, and sometimes systems will start recording over themselves. So we started that process very, very early in the investigation.
Why ask the public for additional help with this white car?
Well, through our tips, through our leads, some of the evidence that came in, we start to identify patterns. And like we said earlier, we are confident that the occupant or occupants of that vehicle have information that's critical to this investigation. We also understand that even though there's sometimes a fascination with a particular case, some people simply don't see the news and may not know that we're looking for it. So if we get the word out there, hey, maybe your neighbor has one in the garage that they don't drive very often. Maybe there's one that's just not on the registration database. Let us know. So far, we have a list of approximately 22,000 registered white Hyundai Elantras that fit into our criteria that we're sorting through. That's an awful lot of information, but it may not be all of them. So the public can help us with that.
All right, that's a lot of white Honda Elantras that they have in their database that they're looking at.
Yeah.
I'm guesstimating that they're probably looking in a couple of different areas, not just in that one. They talked a little bit earlier in this conversation that they've been looking at getting pictures and video footage from around the area to see if they can find the white Elantra. They don't really mention as to why the white Elantra is important. Now, we had a conversation last week, or just yesterday, I'm sorry, in the live, when we were trying to figure out which direction that white Elantra could have been coming from. Let me pull up the Google Earth real quick. And so this is the location. Oh, I hear an echo. I don't know why. This is a location of where that white that gas station was at, right? Now, that gas station stated that the vehicle that they took a picture of was turned off a side street off of Idaho 8. Now, yesterday we assumed that they were traveling on Idaho 8, right? And we assumed that they went this direction. And when we brought up, let me pull it up real quick. When we brought up the fastest way to get to the that house, it was going from there, turning up that road. Here it is. This is Idaho 8 turning off this direction. Now we assume that they came in from this angle.
Yeah. What's the travel? That's only a 4-minute drive, right?
Yeah.
Maybe shorter if you're speeding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now there's been a lot of reports out there that are suspecting Jack, the boyfriend, Jack DeCore. The police have ruled him out, though. I think that if Jack DeCore was the one operating the white Hyundai Elantra, they've talked to Jack before. I think they would have been aware of that if it was him driving the Elantra. I think that the police would have been on him. I think they would have found that out by now, right? Because they would have known who he is.
Yeah. They also cleared him pretty quick in the investigation.
That's true. That is true. They did clear him fairly fast. Nobody is sure what his alibi is. I'm sure. Here's the other thing, though. He's been seen with the family. He was there at the viewing or at the service for Kaylee and was up there with the family. You know, if the police suspected him at all to be a part of this, don't you think that they probably wouldn't allow him to be mingling with the family in that manner?
Yeah, I think they were asking for a couple of more interviews.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they would. Well, it's kind of hard because they don't want to also make him so.
Oh, you muted yourself, Blue. I'm not sure what happened, but
Sorry, my daughter ran in. I was trying to.
no big deal. And so there is one interesting aspect of this, right? I looked up. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I looked up the address for Mr. Jack DeCore's dad.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Scott. He lives out here in man, these are some weird names. Cador Aline, Idaho. Right? Okay, so this is where he lives. So let's just say Jack was home, you know, for the Thanksgiving break. That's his alibi. He was with his parents. This is where they live. What was that address? I have it. I'll put it in here in a little bit. If you were to go from his address at his house to the victim's home, it'd take about an hour and 40 minutes. Now that's at this time. This time right now, it's maybe a little bit of rush hour. You can see that there's some kind of rail blockage adding to the time. So, you know, if you were driving from there to the victim's residence at 2:00 in the morning, I think you can get there quicker. Now, here's to get to the fastest route. Once you get into Moscow, you would turn off of Troy and then turn this direction towards Taylor.
Yeah.
Now, the gas station is located right here, and so I don't see him coming up that direction or coming up this direction. I don't see how he could be coming in this direction.
That would be just a longer trip, right?
Right. It would be a longer trip. It wouldn't make any sense for him to go that direction. Now, there's been some rumors. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When it first came out, there was a report that he was going to his parents' house, and I thought they said it was 4 hours away, not an hour and a half. You know, so that's pretty close.
Nah, man. It's not that far. It's only an hour and 40 minutes. That's at rush hour time. When I put that picture up, it was like around 6:00. So, you know, it's a desolate area. It's a rural area. So there's probably not as much traffic that, you know, I would expect in a bigger city area. But, you know, there's still going to be people moving in and out versus at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And if he's speeding, if he's upset and he's driving in a fast manner, he might be able to get there quick. So I did find that, and I found that to be okay. You know what? If he was at his parents' house, if that's what his alibi is, does he have enough time to get from his parents' house back to the residence in Moscow and then get back home? And I think there definitely is.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving with adrenaline going. I mean, the first way down there, you're probably upset, right? You're mad, you're furious, or whatever the case may be. Something that's going to, you know, get him to do this, right?
Yeah.
And he'd probably have to be extremely angry. And so driving back, there's the adrenaline, you know, not wanting to get busted. He's probably hauling tail back the other way too. So I think there's definitely a possibility. Now, we also looked at this video here. Now, let me pull this out of there. And this is off of one of the neighbors' homes off to the side. I have it slowed down. You can actually see the victim's house there. And down here is where we saw the vehicle. This was off of a Barstool, Idaho Instagram page. And so a lot of folks have been trying to say that that Jack might be down here, that he even lived at this house at one point. I'm not too certain that's the case. I think this is a party house, and I think that, and we'll go through some pictures and we'll look at it.
Yeah.
And so let me pull. This is the video. This was from 40 weeks ago. Let's pull up the actual pictures, the side by side. And so right here, we discussed is, does this vehicle look like this vehicle here, right? And here's the other thing, how close this vehicle is to the resident house, which, you know what, let me just show everybody real quick that way we're all on the same page. So right here is where that house is at. You can tell based on the neighbor's house. Right here, it has this roof. You can see this roof fixture here. And typically, during the day, you can see this direction all the way to the victim's house. But this is the house that they were at, right? And so the vehicle on the left is the vehicle that was spotted by the gas station. Vehicle on the right was the one at the house party 40 weeks ago. It looks, we talked about the angle in the back of the windshield right here, that being very similar. We talked about the headlights sticking out and how that kind of, you know, this exaggerated headlight out here kind of also looks similar, correct?
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's the same vehicle?
It looks like the same make and model.
Yeah.
If this is the vehicle that they're searching for and how close it was to the victim's house, do you think that they would have had trouble finding it?
They shouldn't have, unless they're doing shoddy work.
Right. I mean, what I'm basically...
It's also was like Thanksgiving break, so everybody took off home, you know what I mean?
That's true. That is
Maybe
true.
once a kid found out, hey, they're looking for my car, he came back with another car. That's my theory.
That's possible. It definitely is. But if it was somebody close to the girls, right? Like, for instance, the ex-boyfriend, you would think that the surviving roommates would be pretty close to that boyfriend, right? Especially if he's been a boyfriend for a while. It's been reported he's been a boyfriend for about 5 years. And so I would anticipate or suspect that they would be aware if he had access to a white vehicle matching the description that they're searching for. You know, I think a lot of people close to Kaylee would know that because of their relationship, right? I think a lot of people would know also that, you know, if Jack lived down the street. Now, I think that if Jack lived down the street and was there at the time of the murders, then I don't think you can rule him out so quick, right? And so I'm anticipating that he either doesn't live there or he was away from his house at the time with some sort of evidence that he wasn't at home or at that location during the time of the murders. Now, I went out here and I know somebody else had found some of these pictures and kind of broke these things out as well. It was about the same time I did. We just are breaking this down a little bit later in the day, but I think they're called something circus, crime circus. So I'll give them their props, but this is something a little bit different. This is Kaylee's Facebook, right? And there are some pictures here that I found interesting. For instance, this picture here. And in fact, I'll bring it up here so we can zoom in. You see the door here, the frame, and this window?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's pull up the party house. Right there. I can't zoom in any more than that, but doesn't that look like the area?
That looks pretty close. Can I see the other one? Do the picture before this one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to have a same entryway in a lot of houses like that.
Go. Okay, cool. Now go back.
Let's see, where was it?
Right there.
It's got the lattice window. I think they're called, right? Lattice windows.
Yeah.
Right,
It looks pretty close to being the same one.
right. You know, I definitely think that this is the same house. You look at this picture here. You have the two girls. You see in the reflection of that wall right there,
Yeah. It's like a
Right
retaining
here.
wall.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks are saying that this is proof that Jack lives there. I don't think so. You know, you look at the pictures of Kaylee here at this house. There are just as much pictures of her and her friends here, and this is different days. You can tell by the different types of clothing
Mhm.
than they are of Jack there. In fact, there are some other pictures of the house across the street. Let me pull them up here. I just have them saved.
Yeah. It seems like it's just a party house where they just go and party.
Right now, look at this house here. This is the gravel yard.
Mhm.
Look at the exterior here.
It almost looks like a cabin, right?
Yeah. If we were to go to, let's go a little bit. We have to go way over here because that is an older picture. This is a 2022 picture.
Mhm.
Let's get closer, closer. Look at that. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And so let's take this out.
Because they're all college friends. I'm pretty sure all their friends live around them. And
That's the square area that they're taking the pictures, and this is the gravel yard, right? So
Yeah.
let's look at the pictures again. Bring it up. So this picture is taken here with Jack, and you can kind of see the victim's house in the background there as well.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. This is the same picture. This is the house behind them in the same area. It's different day. You can see the ground, the rocks in the back.
Yeah.
And so, in my opinion, these three houses, these people have been here quite a bit. Now, here's the other thing. Remember that one picture of that car? Check this out.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Oh yeah.
It's still there, parked there. You can see the line. I don't think that's an Elantra. That is an Elantra, but that ain't.
No, I don't know. I don't know about the one on the left.
This one here?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Maybe.
Looks like a Kia.
No, that's a Hyundai. You can see the little H right there.
Oh, so Hyundai. Oh yeah, it is. But that's a different type, right? That doesn't look like a.
Yeah, it could be different. But you have this white vehicle parked here. You have this white vehicle parked here. Another one. Two other ones, actually.
What's the one to the very left?
This one?
Farther left. Oh, it's a Jeep. Oh,
Yeah, you got a Jeep. You have a Subaru. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I just think that if this vehicle was this close and this is the vehicle that they were looking for, that they would potentially know that already, unless this person doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, that's
Now
so,
you have the girls at that house quite a bit, right?
yeah.
And even if Jack lived there, I don't think he was there that night. If he was there, I don't think they can what do you call it, rule him out that quick, right? Now, if he was at his parents' house, his parents are his alibi. There's some kind of ring. camera that has video footage of his vehicle in front of the house. It doesn't leave, blah, 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 whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Now, I think, and this is just my opinion, that if it is this white vehicle here, that this person no longer lives in this house,
Mm-hmm.
because why would they be traveling there at 3:45 unless they were out partying somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
Which is possible, but I feel that the police would have figured this car out right away here at this location.
Yeah.
It's too
Definitely.
close, right? And
Yeah.
so this is my theory. I think that it's one of the friends, potentially one of Jack's friends, who maybe thought, who was always like Kaylee, had a thing for her. I mean, if you go and look at the interior of this house, this is the home.
Mm-hmm. It's nice too.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Where is it at? Right here, you can see the victim's house back here in the corner,
Yeah.
out
It's
this
a-
window.
It's a straight shot right between two houses, right?
Yeah, and these are houses. This house, that house right here, and that house over there. Those are three houses that are known to be party houses.
Yeah.
And so, just my assumption, if somebody was driving through here at 3:45, 3 o'clock in the morning, I just don't understand where they would be coming from. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if it could be Jack based on the maps. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Unless he was somewhere else. I mean, he could have been somewhere else, at a friend's house, or he could potentially not live there and live in a different area. Nobody really knows where he lives.
Yeah.
People are trying to put two and two together to say that he lives there. But those are three party houses that he's been at. He's been at Kaylee's house, obviously, because he was dating her. He's been at the gray house between that house and the party house. I'm calling it the party house because of the video. And he's been at the party house because there's pictures, but there's only, I think, one picture of him there, and there's a couple of pictures of Kaylee there. So to me, it seems like perhaps Kaylee was there more often than him.
It seems like that.
You know what I mean? And they live close, so it shouldn't be a big deal. You know what I'm saying? What's that, Big Blue?
I said maybe he used to live there and be a roommate there, and those are old pictures of when they used to party there.
Well, the video from the Idaho Barstool Instagram clip that we looked at, that's on top of that house, that was 40 weeks ago. And the Google image from the street there closer towards Taylor Avenue, and you can look down the road and we can see things, that says 2022 on the bottom. And so it is from this year. Just watch. Now once you get closer to it changes, but they're using an older image. I don't know why, but right here, I don't know if let me pull this out. You can't see it. Hold on. I'm gonna have to do something over here too. Dang, gotta change everything up just to show. 2022 right there. Google. So this is just recent. Now once you go up further towards the building, then it does change. It's like it says 2015 or newer, and you can tell that this house hadn't been remodeled and stuff. And so,
what's it called? I had a question.
Yeah.
Do you think any of these houses had like a Ring camera? And
I think,
and if so, like, I don't own the Ring camera. I don't know if you do.
I do.
But when your Ring camera records somebody getting to your apartment or your house or whatever, it's like, it sends it to your phone, or does it store it, or how does that work?
Both. It sends it to your phone, and there's a storage, a cloud that you can send to.
Okay,
that
so
it
like,
saves to.
It's only if you're paying for the service.
Well, you have access to it if you're paying for the service. I believe Ring still saves them, for law enforcement purposes.
that's what I was wondering if any of these houses, these party houses, have that Ring doorbell. You know what I mean? Maybe.
I mean, you would assume so, but the possibility it's there.
Yeah.
They said they saw a bunch of people. In fact, when we watched the initial video with the chief of police, I had forwarded about a minute and 13 seconds. And in there, he talked about that they had found several places that had ring or surveillance, and that they had an officer going around the neighborhood and city basically pulling for it. He reemphasizes that the occupant or occupants of the vehicle have vital information. So I'm assuming it's a suspect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm assuming that they cleared out Jack, D, or Decor pretty early. My assumption is that it's somebody close. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of Jack's friends.
Could be.
Who had a liking to his girlfriend, just kind of like a secret crush type of thing. Thought he had an opportunity when the relationship was going south. Apparently, she was thinking about moving, perhaps even to Texas alone. And if that ended up being the case, there could have been somebody who thought maybe they had a chance with her, an opportunity to, whatever the case may be, and was turned down that night. If the vehicle at the gas station is correct, then in my opinion, this person, given the time that the light goes out on the body cam footage from the police officers dealing with the alcohol incident outside of the residence there, would lead me to believe that they had to have come from at least an hour away, because these girls probably didn't trigger him with anything that had occurred at after 2:55 when they went to sleep. Right. So whatever triggered this guy to go over there and do this happened before then. How much earlier than then, I'm not sure.
Has the
And
coroner released the time of death? They released it.
I believe they put between 3 and 6.
Okay.
And so I think that's what I read somewhere. But it's anytime between there. You would assume they would be able to tell, pretty accurately based on the fact that the Kaylee and Madison went to the, they got food. You could probably assume that they ate that food either on the way to their apartment or shortly after getting their apartment. It's not a long drive or distance from the short the taco shops, the truck or whatever you call it, to their apartment. And so the autopsy would be able to determine, based on the degradation of the food in the stomach, how long they've been deceased.
Maybe like their phone might be able to say when they were connected and stuff like that. I'm not sure if your phone saves that.
Depends. I mean, if they had a iWatch that was monitoring their heart rate or something like that, that probably determined a lot closer. Like, hey, the heart rhythm stopped at this point. If they took off their watches or things of that nature, then they're probably going to have to go based off of the content in their stomach.
Yeah, I've seen another case about that too, where they used a Fitbit. I think that was like the old style ones. Remember, he used to buy them, and that they determined that the certain person passed away at a certain time because of the Fitbit.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I can't remember exactly what case it was, but I remember seeing it maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah, but that was crazy how they figured that out.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that they were able to figure, I think, a time of death on somebody. And so, those things record your heart rate, your heart rhythm, things of that nature. It also records when the watch is turned off or taken off your hand. And so it may not be indicating that somebody's passed, but it'll indicate that the watch was no longer detecting somebody or whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that would kind of help and lead that in that direction. Man, I don't know, man. It's a crazy situation.
No, definitely, man. Like, there's so many people involved. You know what I mean? That could be a suspect or at least a person of interest, with just the information we have so far. You know what I mean?
For sure. So, yeah, I think it's somebody close. I don't think it's Jack. I think if it was Jack, police would have. I think if it was him, I think they would probably have him in custody by now. They wouldn't be looking for a white car, things of that nature. I know they know more than they're letting out, and they're pretty confident this isn't going to become a cold case. And so it's just probably a lot of the issue is perhaps getting somebody to come back to the city. That could be it too, you know?
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. We're running a little long in the tooth. With that said, guys, do y'all have any last words? Start off with you, Big Blue.
I just want to tell everybody see you tomorrow and have a good day.
Yes, sir. What about you, Jaime?
Tomorrow we're having live chats, right? We're gonna be talking to the chat, bringing on people and whatnot, right?
Yes, sir. We'll be letting you guys join the stream. We'll be sending out the StreamYard link into the live chat. You'll have to be on camera, you know, before we let you guys come on to the show. So that way nobody's showing any unwanted parts on their private parts on the screen.
Yeah, you never know.
There are some weird people that do weird things. And so, you know, if you guys want to come on the show, have your cameras ready. But for this show, this is going to be a wrap. Let us know your thoughts and theories. Please hit that like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell. That being said, guys, we're out. Peace.
Later, man.
Later.
For the first time in more than 5.5 years, we finally tonight have a few new answers to a question that has loomed over Indiana and over the town of Delphi. Who killed Abby Williams and Libby Jervis?
The end of the bridge too. You got to go through. Now, I believe that the bodies were found about 50
A
feet.
suspect in the criminal investigation out of Fort Hood is dead. Officials say he killed himself overnight.
They needed that little music in the background. It goes, "Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious."
Right.
Knew about it or was there. He's as guilty as the person who committed.
Chilling details in the arrest of a suspected serial killer caught before he could strike again.
Him, they dropped the ball, man. Like they said, he went AWOL, and that he was a deserter, and nobody went to look for him.
Today is not a day to celebrate. With the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder.
Right. He sees him taking off with the wife. They end up finding the wife murdered with the baby out of her, and they found the baby in another place.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to The Drunken Turkey Show, your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe.